Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? I ain't been on here in a while, man. See if this still works. Just wanna this is just gonna be a quick one, a quick live. Just want to convey some news to you guys that I got earlier today from heavyweight Gregory Corbin. He sent me a text message saying that he will be fighting Charles Martin on the Errol Spence um, Garcia undercard is taking place March 16th. All right, so stay ready. Boxing was good, man. Rain G, what's up? AZ, what's up? Yeah, I ain't been on here in a while, man. I'm good. Now I do know there's a whole bunch of other topics to talk about that I haven't covered. I haven't, man. I don't think I made a video in about 2 months here, so I'm definitely going to be doing more videos. I've been good, man. Just been taking care of the family, chilling. Stay ready, boxing TV. But just want to convey this news to you guys, man. But I'm gonna get more in tune with making more videos and getting caught up with what's going on in the heavyweight scene. I know we got Joshua versus Miller going on. I don't even think I recapped the Dillian White Chisora rematch. I know you got Christian Hammer taking on Luis Ortiz coming up. A lot of good heavyweight things going on right now. We got the Fury Wilder rematch being talked about. That's supposed to take place, so there's a lot of fights out there. Dillian White, Brazil, I hear is being talked about. So some good fights. Joyce versus Stiverne. There's a lot of them, man. You know, what I mean, there's a lot of fights. Even Christian Hammer when he beat Michelle Wallace and took his undefeated record. I've been keeping up on all the fights. Jennings Rivas is another fight that I want to still talk about. So I'm gonna get to all that, man. This live will not be long, all right. But I just want to get the news out there that Charles Martin will be fighting Gregory Corbin. As far as that fight, though, this is a fight that, for those of you that don't know Gregory Corbin, he is an undefeated fighter. He's 15-0 out of Dallas, Texas. He was a standout amateur in like the 2004, 2005, 2006 era of super heavyweights at the amateur level. He was the a close, where he was being looked at to represent the USA in the 2008 games. All right, but he had some legal problems, and he didn't have an opportunity to try to live out that dream. All right, but what I can say is he is fighting Charles Martin March 16th. It's a good fight. And this is I interviewed Greg Corbin 2 years ago, man, a couple times over the last couple years, and he's been calling Martin, Miller, all those guys out, man. So happy to see him get his opportunity. Now, as far as the fight itself, the last time we seen Charles Martin in the ring, he was fighting Adam Konauki in a really good, entertaining scrap they had back and forth. I had Konauki winning, I think 6-4, 5-5, but I think it was more 6-4 Adam, and it was a good, entertaining fight to the final bell. It was almost looking like that Konauki is going to stop Martin, and then Martin had a segments in the fight where he was really dominating, man, and looked like he could possibly drop Adam. You know what I mean? Um, but when Adam got close and fought that inside fight, that's when I thought Adam was getting the best of Martin. When Martin was making him run into shots and he was pivoting and turning Konauki, because you know Konauki gonna put the high guard up, come forward. You don't have to go looking for him in the ring. You know what I mean? So I think if with Corbin, I think what Martin may try to do is move around a little bit, just turn and pivot a little bit, and probably try to put like set the pace very high when he's fighting Corbin. Try to force him into one of those type of fights. When I watch Corbin fight, he's a big guy. They're both around 6'5", so they're two big dudes. He has a good right hand. I seen footage of him working with Riddick Bowe, and him and Riddick Bowe was kind of, just working. Yes, Riddick Bowe, old Riddick Bowe, but he was kind of just working them out, man. As far as working things that I wanted a lot of these dudes to do, work with Riddick Bowe when it comes to inside fighting, and he was doing some inside drills with Riddick Bowe, and it was pretty much just letting your hands go, pivoting, letting your hands go, pivoting, turning, letting your hands go, standing there but pivoting and turning. And I like seeing that work, and I like that he's trying to implement some of what Riddick Bowe was famous for inside the ring. So, with all that said, I think that Gregory Corbin should just be patient, be patient, use some of what Riddick Bowe was showing him when they get on the inside. Be patient, kind of knock down Charles Martin's jabs, kind of knock him down. Be patient and make him pay after you make a miss or when you catch his punch. You know what I mean? Stay solid, stay composed. Don't get out of your realm. Just stay solid, stay composed. Calmly walk him down, but try to get close to Charles Martin. Make him back up or make him stop and fight or just back up on the defensive. Now, Martin does do a good job of placing that uppercut. He was doing it against Kaunowski. He was placing a good uppercut, walking him into shots, really, man. I mean, if it wasn't for Kaunowski having a good chin and just loved being in bloodbaths, you know what I mean, he could have probably hurt a lot of other fighters. Let me see. Mr. Slim Dud was good. Dub 5, what's up? He says Donovan Dennis versus Steven Shaw March 1st in Columbus, Ohio. My prediction. Man, that's a good one, man. I'm gonna go with the undefeated guy, Shaw. You know what I mean? Steven Shaw's a guy. I believe he's out of St. Louis. He worked with is it Kevin Cunningham? You know what I mean? I don't know if they're still working with each other, but I like Shaw. Kind of reminds me of Corbin a little bit. He has quick hands. Another big guy that likes to fight in that steady rhythm and steady pace and walk you down and knock down your jabs and parry punches. You know what I mean? Donovan Dennis, a good lefty. He actually fought Jarrell Miller. So I've seen some Donovan Dennis. I've seen him in the Boxino tournament on ESPN. And he was a good amateur too. He's a southpaw. But yeah, man, this Charles Martin fight with Gregory Corbin is an interesting fight. You have a guy, and even though Corbin is 15-0, he isn't a young fighter as far as he's not in his 20s. Things like 38, 37 years old, somewhere in there. So it's do or die for him, man. This is the type of fights that he needs. It's the type of fight that'll break him through. As far as fighting a guy that's a former title holder, regardless of how you feel that Martin got that title against Glasgow. The facts are he is a former title holder. He's a guy that has been in those type of big fights, even though he got dominated by Anthony Joshua when he got there. But still, he's been in a Glasgow fight. He's had an Anthony Joshua situation. He even fought Kaunowski in his last fight. You know what I mean? So, good, entertaining scrap, man. I'm expecting fireworks. I'm expecting one guy to go in there in Charles Martin to show that, hey, man, I need to get back to the top and prove everybody wrong. He showed a lot of heart in the Kaunowski fight. And then you got a guy, Gregory Corbin, who's trying to break through like, hey, man, let me get an opportunity so I can show y'all what I can really do. So I love these type of crossroad fights. Neutral Natural says, what do you think about Chris Arreola versus Jean-Pierre Auxin? Arreola's going to come to fight, man. He's going to give it all he got. I'm just not sure how much he has, regardless who he fights, man. Whether he fights Jean-Pierre, whoever he fights, I really don't know how much he has left. AZ says Corbin is 38, no spring chicken. That's right, but one thing, his body is preserved. He has been in a lot of wars. You've seen Amir Mansour, who is 46, 47 years old. Although he did get dominated against Philippe Perkovic, and I heard he has a fight coming up with F.A. Ajagba. Man, maybe the 2014 version of Amir Mansour would have had a better shot, but I think he's kind of ran his course. I think that fight against Gerald Washington, Dominic Brazil, even the Travis Kaufman fight, the Cunningham fight, and then the fight he had with Kuzma, he got cut and the fight got stopped, and then the fight he had with Herkovic. I think those fights kind of took a lot out of him, man. Took a lot of steam from him. But for a 47, 46-year-old guy, he's in phenomenal shape. I mean, he's in good shape regardless. But as far as being in the ring, competing against these younger, bigger guys that are, 6 inches taller and, outweigh him, I'm not sure how much Amir Mansour has left at this stage. All right. But comparing that to Corbin, what I'm saying is when Amir was fighting 4 or 5 years ago, when he was a little fresher, his body was preserved when he was away from the sport for those 10 years. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no spring chicken, but he hasn't been through a lot of wars. So the best thing I can say is, man, we'll see on March 16th what happens, because that's when it's going to really, we'll get our answer. Haplotype was good. Try to read a few of these questions, man. I'm about to get a workout in, but I just, want to come on here, man. Let me see. Cali Meehan, what's good? He says, good to hear you talking boxing again. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a few minutes, man. You know, sometimes I gotta get remotivated for these things. You know, I don't know, man. Sometimes when I hear making these videos, you know, there's a lot of caustic and vile, you know, conversation back and forth between fans, and it's expected. You know, that's nothing new. But to me, this shit just is a waste of time. Some, especially when you have other things going on in your life that you can be giving your attention to. But I still follow the sport, still love the sport, man. Just because I'm away and not making videos, I'm still watching boxing. You know, I just watched the Ali Frazier trilogy again. You know, so I'm staying in tune with the fights. I'm not watching fights, you know, and I'm still watching YouTube channels, guys I've been subscribed to for years. You know what I mean? So I'm still on here, just haven't made a video. Stiverne Joyce. Man, I said it's gonna be a short video, man. All right, Stiverne Joyce. Now they've sparred. They've actually had some, so they're familiar with each other. All right. Uh, Callie Meehan says, okay, he's talking to somebody. Okay, so somebody's asking me about Joyce versus, was it Neutral Natural? He says, why so many people think Joe Joyce will blow away Stiverne in one round? All right, let me tell you why. Well, first of all, I don't know what happened in their sparring session. I haven't talked to Bermain Stiverne about what happened, and I don't have any communication with Joe Joyce about what happened in their sparring. Sparring is sparring. All right, so they are familiar with each other. The reason people think Bermain Stiverne's going to get blown out is because of this. He's been very inactive since the first Wilder fight. He's been very inactive. Later on that year, 2015, pardon me, he lost, or no, he won a very close, debatable fight in which he got dropped with a right hand against Derek Rossi. All right, now Derek Rossi isn't a bum. You know what I mean? He now, was he ever a top 5 guy? No. But shit, man, I thought Derek Rossi beat Glasscoff. You tell me, you know what I'm saying? Like Derek Rossi, now he did fight Carlos Negron, I think his last fight, and got beat. And then Negron fought Brazil. I don't think I even talked about that. The Brazil Negron fight. But anyways, um, so that fight happens, and then you fast forward. He's supposed to fight Pavek, and that fight didn't happen. Then fast forward a little bit past that, then he finally gets in there with Wilder and gets blown out. So with inactivity and struggling with Derek Rossi, who isn't a bum, but to struggle with him and get dropped, and to make fans think like, damn, did Stiverne really win that fight? Like, you know what I mean? Coupled with all that, with the age, not that Joe Joyce is a young guy, but kind of going back to Gregory Corbin. He's a guy in his 30s, hasn't been through a lot of wars. Hell, Joyce just turned pro, you know, after the games, after the Rio games. So then you couple that with being the fresher guy, his style. They're not going to have to go looking for each other in the ring. I'll be very surprised if Stiverne elects to take the back foot and jab and move and pivot and circle. I'll be surprised if Joyce does that. So they're going to go like this. They're going to lock horns. You know what I mean? They're going to lock horns. And I'm going with the bigger, fresher, stronger guy. Not in the first round, but in the first half of the fight. I expect him to get Stiverne out of there. Now, this was the Stiverne that was fighting Ray Austin and all that. You know, the Stiverne that fought Chris Arreola. Then I may have a different opinion, but this is a guy with a lot of inactivity. Now, he may listen to this and say, what the hell is this guy talking about on the internet? I'm getting replenished. You know what I mean? I'm relaxing and, you know, working my way back up. He may say that, but to me, it's just inactivity for a pressure fighter guy. To me, now this is my opinion, man, when I watch these fighters. When there's a guy that's a pressure type guy that takes a lot of time off and suffered a devastating knockout, to me, that's like oil and water, man. Pressure guys, to me, need to stay active, need to stay in the ring. Now, was he the pressure guy on the level of a Joe Frazier type? No, but I think those type of styles have an expiration date. I mean, every fighter has an expiration date in the ring, but I mean, that style to me, the expiration date is rather quick, in my opinion. Haplotype says, did you already discuss Miller AJ? No, I didn't, man. I can touch on it really quick. I think it's gonna be the last one. John Boxing pound for pound the best was good. He says, hey, welcome back, brother. Viking fan. I'm a Packer fan. Yeah, man, go Vikes. Best fight, the best boxing. It says, great hearing you, King. Salute, man. I've been on a lot of your lives, man, so you know I'm checking you out. I see you and Haplo on here, man. I actually like that discussion, man. That lineal versus undisputed, man. That's a good topic. And that if I start talking about that, this live stream will go another 20 minutes. I ain't got that many people in here. I guess people uh it's kind of a weird time for me to go on, but you know how YouTube is when you're an uploader, man. You got to get your channel, especially when you haven't made a video in 2.5 months. You got to get it back rolling, get people back interested in what you're talking about. So, X File Player was good. Renee Salcido was good. And so, yeah, what were we talking about? Oh, Miller versus AJ. Now, it's going to be just real quick, and I'm going to end it here. Again, man, a lot of these, look, guys, a lot of these fights that are being made now, a lot of these fighters said they wanted to fight these guys years ago. Just like Gregory Corbin Martin, this didn't just come out of nowhere. Like Gregory Corbin has always, he's been talking about fighting, getting a shot at Charles Martin, Dominic Brazil, Miller for years. Miller has been talking shit about Anthony Joshua for years. He's been talking shit about Deontay Wilder for years before Wilder even won a title. Look, Miller was talking shit about Deontay Wilder back in 2009. There's a video. I showed you guys a video off YouTube. So to me, looking at all this, we're getting the fights that should have been happening that were being talked about years ago. Now are there fights that I think take priority over this fight? Of course, I want to see Undisputed. But I want to see Undisputed, but there's still unsettled business between Fury and Wilder. There's just so many things that factor into that, to where you can make an excuse for Undisputed not happening because Fury's undefeated. The man that beat, okay, we know what happened with Fury. Okay, so fast forward, he's still undefeated. Even after fighting Wilder, he's still undefeated. You know what I mean? So it's like, hold on, y'all. Let's take care of that, man. Let's get this all taken care of before we move. Because I don't want Wilder. Let's say he were to move on and fight Josh for Undisputed, great. But then there's still that dark cloud over here, where you can still make that fight for the winner to fight Fury. But I just wanted that Fury Wilder thing to be cleaned up. You know what I mean? So even if it's Fury that wins, or because if Fury wins, I think there will be a rematch. So if it's Fury that happens to win the trilogy, or let's say he knocked out Wilder in the first round to where Wilder didn't even want a rematch, then we go to Undisputed like that. Whoever, if Miller were to beat Joshua or Joshua still has it, I'd rather have it like that, man, than go from fight to fight, but there's a draw here and a draw there and a draw over here. Nah, man, let's clean up all draws, you know what I mean? And I've been like that historically watching fights, you know what I mean? Let's clean up them draws. Regardless what popular belief may be out there, oh, I thought so-and-so won. Okay, but factually, it was a draw. You can say whoever you won until you blew in the face. You know what I mean? You can rewind the tape and play, do whatever you want. It was a draw. You know what I mean? So let's clean up that. It's kind of weird how you fast forward, was a year and a half ago, a lot of us was on here arguing about should Joshua come to the U.S., and a lot of fans are telling me. Now, I did say he doesn't have to if he just wants to just stay out in the UK and do his thing out there. Yeah, you don't have to, but if you really want to cross over here, you got to come over here. There is no you're going to just stay across seas somewhere and do your thing and think we just going to be, or think the casuals is just going to follow you like that. You got to come over here to make a name, dude. There's no way around that. And I remember saying this shit like a year and a half ago and getting attacked on my page. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm like, dude, if he wants to just remain a star in the UK and over there, well, yeah, you can stay over there. But if you really want to blow up over here, you have to come over here and fight. And at that time, a lot of us was pressing for the Wilder fight. So it's just, I'm glad the dude is finally coming over here, but it's just funny when a year ago, man, he doesn't have to do, even he came out and said he doesn't have to come over here. When people were bringing up what Lennox Lewis was saying that he should, it's not like that no more, as if Lennox Lewis fought in, 1906 or something. Like, dude, Lennox was just part of the last generation here, man. You know what I mean? So and Lennox is living proof. He's a living legend. Not like Lennox Lewis is 108 years old. You know what I mean? So, and even Evander Holyfield, a lot of guys came out and said this, man. And I remember, because I kept saying, like, dude, Vegas is still Vegas. Like, New York is still New York. Like, venues here are still relevant. You know what I mean? But as far as the actual, so what I'm saying is, it's funny how a year ago he didn't have to fight, and even he was saying he ain't, I don't have to do this to do that, and I don't want to take my fights away from the UK fans, and they deserve this and they deserve that. Blah blah blah. Fast forward, you're fighting in the U.S. It's like, dude, we knew this a year and a half ago. All right, but as far as the actual fight and style breakdown, Miller's come forward. You don't have to go looking for him to hit him. He's going to be right in your chest. He wants to dig to the body and come over the top with overhand rights and overhand lefts, hooks and uppercuts. He fought Bogdan Dinu. That's another fight that I didn't. Did I cover that one? I don't even know. But to me, look, I knew Dinu was going to have some success. I've done a prospect watch video on Bogdan. He's a guy that likes to, throw straight punches, come with uppercuts, pivot a little bit, throw, 4 or 5 punch, well, not, 3, 4 punch combinations, move, stick and move type guy. So I was impressed how he was able to do it for as many rounds as he was against Miller, because I thought Miller would get to him a lot quicker. But when Miller finally got to him, he just broke him down. A mid-range fight like that favors Miller. A lot of people, they're not confident in Miller's punching power. And to me, he isn't this one punch specialist. You know what I mean? But if you go watch that Donovan Dennis fight, he has some heavy hands in that one. You know what I mean? But he's the type of guy that wants to wear you down, battle over attrition, dig to the body, kind of like his homeboy Adam. Him and Adam Konowski kind of fight in similar fashion, man. Adam, another fight I didn't cover is Adam versus Gerald Washington. So much to talk about, man. I know I'm going kind of everywhere with these topics. There's so much that I've missed over the last 2 months, 2.5 months. Damn, man. So, Gerald, now Adam got rid of Gerald a lot quicker than Miller, and I'm gonna get back to Miller and AJ, but he got rid of him quicker. And the reason I think that happens because Gerald fought a different fight. Gerald decided to, I don't know if Gerald was trying to get Adam respect, so he was like, you know what, I'm not gonna move around and do everything that people were criticizing me for, because a lot of people saying that Gerald moved too much. I was one of them. So I don't know if he just said, I'm just gonna stand my ground and get his respect. It didn't work, and I thought that's what he was trying to go to, kind of sit down, dig, keep that right hand on him, get his respect. I thought he should have moved, man. He should have just been Gerald and sat down occasionally while moving around, trying to get Adam to the later in the fight. You know what I mean? Because Adam did start to slow down in that Martin fight towards the end. He was still in there banging away, but he's, once you let him run it, I don't care who you are, man. You run into enough punches later on in the fight, man. That's just going to, you're going to start to feel the effects of that. All right. I'll be down there 1 second. Okay. So yeah, man, Gerald just had a different way of approaching that fight than he did against Miller. So Adam was kind of like, damn, you're gonna just stand here in front of me? Cool, shit, great. I ain't gotta go looking for you. Great. You know what I mean? When with Miller, Washington was moving, Miller had to do more work, following him around or trying to cut off the ring or following him around the ring, however you want to describe it. And he finally caught it with him later on in the fight. All right, now as far as with AJ though, hey, no. As far as with Anthony Joshua though, the thing is, man, like if Bogdan Dinu can touch up Miller and move a little bit, I think that AJ will be able to do that as well, and he can punch a lot harder. He can punch a lot harder than Bogdan Dinu, and he has a vicious uppercut, and he has a nice, impactful inside game, and I think that Miller is keen to this, so I think it will behoove him to. I think it'd behoove him to stay on that body and try to get to that body, man. Try to work the body. Try to do what. Well, some of what Povetkin was able to do, and Povetkin was able to catch Joshua with some good overhands, some hooks. You know what I mean? But rip to that body, and try to get inside that reach. Now, when you get inside of it, there's gonna be an uppercut waiting for you. Parker showed that you can make a miss. Got to move your damn head. You can't just sit there and just take them and show how tough you are. I wouldn't suggest that. You know what I mean? And I think Miller and I think Joshua, rather, when he lands that uppercut, the punch is going to be key. I believe is we know the uppercut's coming, but like all fighters, I want to have my fighter just depending on one shot. This is what Wilder did in the Fury fight. Again, I know I'm all over the place, but I'm just giving you guys examples. As far as following up when you throw your money punch, you know what I mean? You go look at those Wilder knockdowns of Fury. What did he follow the big right hand up with? Left hook. That's what I think Joshua. All right, we back. All right, so what I was saying with AJ is to go for the big right uppercut, but followed up with left hooks and probably come with a straight right hand after that. So uppercut, left hook, straight right hand combo. You know what I mean? But throw combos and not just look for one big uppercut. And with Miller, just stay on the body, stay in his chest. Don't let him breathe, man. Don't let him breathe. Miller has a good chin. He's been in Vladimir Klitschko camps. Um, and I actually have that footage on my page. If you guys haven't seen the Vladimir Klitschko, Jarrell Miller sparring session, look it up. It's on my page. Um, Best Fight the Best says you used to do lives while punching on the heavy bag. Yes, I did. And I'm going to go back to that. You know what I mean? I'm going to go back to that Best Fight the Best. That's actually what I'm about to do now, man. My sons is waiting for me to come in there and work out with them. So, um, again, man, I'm kind of just touching, glazing over a lot of different topics, man. Let me see. Koya Matai, he says, crazy. A couple hours ago, I was like, where the fuck is Mr. Boxing today? All right here, man. You know, I'm back like I left something. You know, but for those of you who's been following me, James Coleman will salute to you, man. He says, I watched him fights with his chin up and no head movement. Um, because he was usually, well, my opinion, James, he was usually always using his legs for his movement. You know what I mean? Mike Johnson says, glad you're back. I appreciate that, man. AZ says, AJ clearly wants the U.S. money. Yeah, you know, that's why it was getting so frustrating arguing or just going back and forth with fans, man. I know people say, "Oh, Mr. Boxing, ignore them." It's like, dude, I'm a fan. You know, I'm not an ESPN reporter, so I come on here to make videos and communicate with fans. You know what I mean? So when you're constantly seeing these comments in your comment section, it's hard to just ignore it because that's when I'm coming here to converse with fans. You know what I mean? But anyways, it was just frustrating arguing with people, and it's like, dude, like, is this just the you hate the USA type of shit going on here, or when did it come to when did this start to where like you don't have to come over here in boxing to make a name for yourself? Like when did this start? Like when did I miss something here? Like what when did this start? You know what I mean? Shit, the Klitschko's tore it up out there in Germany and did their thing. But what did they do? They'll come back to Atlantic City. They'll come back to Madison Square Garden. You know, they always made their they'll come to LA. You know what I mean? So they always made their way over here. Tyson Fury. Where did he just fight? LA. You know what I'm saying? So come on, man. Lomachenko and Usyk and all these other guys, where are they coming to? Over here. You can make money in other places, obviously, but if you want to really submit yourself over here, man, you got to get, you got to let that Los Angeles media get to you, and that New York City media cover you too, man. You know. L File player says people started biting your heavy bag live. Oh, that's what's up. Hey man, if I could be a blessing and an inspiration to for other uploaders to do things, man, that's fine, man. You know, because there's guys that when I started in 2009, guys who channels I was following in 2007, 2008, that kind of sparked my interest to do videos like Blood Boxing. He changed it to retro boxing and documentary. So, hey, so say, man, I'm not going to be on here saying, you know, they copying my style or my swag, whatever. It is what it is. I'm glad that I can influence another uploader. You know what I mean? Ike says, what do you think of Philippe Herkovic? Man, I think that dude is in 2015, December 2015, he was my favorite to win the gold medal going into the 2016 Rio Games. So that lets you know what I think of him right there. And also the title of that video is he the next great heavyweight? This 2015, I made this before he turned pro. So that lets you know what I think of him. Quick hands, kind of fights in a Klitschko-esque type of style. I like the way that man, he was touching Amir Mansour, man. Now, I know it's a smaller, older guy he was facing, but the way he was keeping that jab on him, leading with the left hook, he kind of, you know, kind of does what Vitaly used to do, where Vitaly kind of lean back like this, and he'll kind of use his left hook to probe and whip it at you. Probe, whip it at you with the hook, stick the jab. I like how he does that. Now, again, we'll see how he is when he gets higher in competition. But he's only had a handful of fights and fought Amir Mansour in like what his sixth fight or something like that. So a lot of amateur experience. Dude knows how to fight, man. I like Filip Hrgovic, the Croatian fighter. James Coleman says, "Where do you see Rivas, Mr. Box?" All right, now seriously, this is the last one, y'all. This is the last one. Mike Wilkins, I appreciate that, man. He says my favorite channel. I appreciate that, man. All right, now this is the last one. All right, James Coleman. I'm gonna end it with James too. All right. He says, "Where do you see Rivas?" Well, first of all, let me say that I got the prediction wrong. I was conversing with somebody on through messaging that I thought that Jennings will get him down the stretch. I thought Jennings would just pull it out down the stretch. All right, so I was wrong on that. Um, where do I see him? I think that he has a good right hand. He's a patient fighter. He has tight defense. He knows his limitations. Um, I think his boxing ability is underrated because he's a shorter, come forward guy. This is a guy that he did beat Kirbet Pulev in the Olympics. For whatever that's worth. A lot of people like to use what people did in the amateurs when it's convenient for them. To me, I use it all the time. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a good pro, but I think it needs to be said that he did beat Pulev. Um, he's going to face the same problems that a lot of the shorter, come forward guys face: reach and the reach of these bigger, the reach and weight advantage of these bigger guys. All right, if he can find a way to slip past these guys' jabs and make it a mid-range fight, I think he has a chance just about against anybody. You know what I mean? Because Brian Jennings isn't the easiest guy to go in there and knock out. Regardless of what you think of Brian Jennings, he didn't have a long amateur career, or he lost to Ortiz, or he lost to Vladimir, or whatever. He's not some guy that's easy to knock out. If he's so easy to knock out, Vladimir Klitschko didn't even come close to knocking him out. Actually, he had Vladimir didn't come close to knocking him out, and Jennings put the high guard up and was walking Vladimir down. You know what I mean? So Vladimir even had an easier chance, or a much, in my opinion, a greater chance of knocking him out by making him walk into a shot. But he won the fight. I'm not saying it was a close fight, but he didn't come close to knocking him out. All right, so for Rivas to do it and do it late, for his power to carry, now you can say that Jennings was getting fatigue, uh, but he still got stopped. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see with Rivas, man. But now it's like the pressure guys of today now are like 6'4". You know what I mean? I remember the pressure guys of the 90s and 80s, and the set. Those guys are more like 6 feet, 5'11", 6'1". Now they're 6'4", and then the tall guys are the 6'8", 6'7" guys. You know what I mean? So um, we'll see, but I definitely like Rivas, and I think he's more than just a put the high guard up, come forward plotter. All right, I'm gonna end it here. AZ says Ugano's trainer died. I did not know that. If that is true, I did not know Israel Gono's trainer passed away. I did not know that. DOG215, what's good, man? All right, y'all. I'm gonna end it there. If I don't, I'll keep talking, but I'm gonna be on here, man. Um, it's not, I'll be on here in the next couple of days, man. I'm starting to get the feeling back to want to talk about this again. All right. So for those of you that were able to join me, I know it was a out of nowhere live stream. I haven't been on here in 2.5 months, so I was not expecting a big crowd to show up, but I just wanted to re-energize the channel. You know what I mean? Get some content back on here and talk about it. All right. But y'all be easy.